Hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm Stephen Cox, the founder of TakeLessons. This is video number 3 in our course, Measuring Your Marketing. In the first video, I gave you an overview of what you could expect from this course. In the second video, you learned about channels and also 4 acronyms that you can use to measure your marketing. They include CAC, LTV, ROAS, and EPH. Now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk more in depth about customer acquisition cost, or CAC. First, why bother? Why is CAC worth your time at all? Well, anytime you spend money on marketing, you'll want to be sure that you can get more money back than what you're putting in. And the first step to making sure that happens is knowing your CAC. And at the end of this lecture, you're going to know how to calculate your CAC, and I'm going to work through that with some real-world examples for you. So, let's get started. So first, what is CAC again? CAC stands for Customer Acquisition Costs, and the purpose in calculating your CAC is so that you can understand how much it costs you to get a new student. By calculating CAC across several different marketing channels, you can see which channel is the most effective for your business. CAC is calculated like this. It's the number of newly acquired students divided by the total marketing costs. Let's walk through a couple examples. Meet Aaron. Originally from Europe, Aaron studied music performance at Berklee School of Music. He teaches guitar and French, both online and in person. Aaron uses several channels in order to secure new students for his teaching business. Let's walk through a couple of channels now. First, let's go through Facebook. Recently, Aaron did his first Facebook ad campaign. He spent 2 hours creating the right formatted ads and setting up his account, and then spent $448 over the course of 2 months targeting people where he lives in Atlanta. During that time frame, 12 people contacted him and he closed 2 new clients. A mom booked her son for guitar lessons, and a young professional booked French lessons to help with her career. Aaron's rate for lessons is $55 an hour. So if he spends 2 hours creating ads and setting up the Facebook campaigns, that means he spent $110 of his time. Now this cost is sometimes overlooked, but it is part of your costs. So it is calculated as part of your cost of acquisition, or CAC. So we can calculate CAC by taking the upfront time cost, which was $110, and then adding the actual money spent, which was $448. This is $558 total. Now, we divide the number of new students, 2, by his total spend, 558. And in this case, Aaron's CAC for the Facebook campaign that he was doing ended up being $279. Now let's talk about flyers. Aaron also prints flyers and he hangs them up at the local coffee shops and the yoga studios around town. He spent 4 hours designing the flyer, printing them, and building local relationships with store owners so he can hang his flyer up. The cost of 50 flyers were $50. In this case, Aaron's total costs were just the $50 for the flyers, as well as $220 for his time. This equals a total of $270. Let's use the same time frame as Facebook ads, just so it's easy to calculate. So after 2 months, flyering yielded him 5 contacts and 1 new guitar student. Overall, he landed 1 new student and his costs were $270. So what is his CAC? That's right, $270. Finally, Aaron is a member of TakeLessons. He's been a member for 3 years. Aaron just signed up a new online French student. Congratulations. Let's say the student stayed 6 months and takes 20 sessions. Now, as we know, TakeLessons doesn't charge any marketing cost up front to get started, but rather takes a portion of the fee charged over time. The first 5 sessions, Aaron earns 60% of his list price. The next 5 sessions, Aaron earns 70% of the fee. And for sessions 11 through 15, Aaron earns 80%. And then finally, for the remaining sessions, Aaron earns 90% of his listed fee. Overall, his costs come in the form of a discount off of his fee instead of actual cash that Aaron has to pay up front. Now, when you do the math on the number of sessions, if a student stays with Aaron for 20 sessions, his costs come in the form of a shared percentage with TakeLessons equaling about $275. Now, something to note is that if this student had only taken, for instance, one lesson and then asked for a refund, Aaron's CAC is no longer $275. Instead, the CAC would then only be $22, which is the TakeLessons share percentage for the first lessons. As you see, one of the benefits of working with my company, TakeLessons, is that instead of having to shell out cash up front to do marketing, the cost of acquisition is paid over time and only after you start making money from the student. If the student flakes out after a lesson or two, then your CAC is automatically lowered relative to other channels. I don't know of another single marketing channel that teachers can use that has such a generous program. Just about every other form of marketing is paid up front. Even with lead generation, you still have to pay even if you don't sign up that student. So we think that this is a true win-win for everybody. Let's summarize what we learned today. First, CAC is important to know because it helps you understand how much it costs you to acquire a new student. By calculating CAC across several different channels, you can see which channels are the most effective for your business. This gives you critical information that you need in order to know exactly where to spend your advertising dollar. In our 4 examples, this is what the ending calculations ended up looking like. CAC is calculated like this. Now remember, when calculating CAC, consider calculating on a quarterly basis, which means every 3 months. Sometimes monthly calculations, it just doesn't give you enough time for you to check to make sure that your advertising is working. So for instance, you could place ads and someone could see them and then bookmark the profile and then not call you for months and months afterwards. But by calculating quarterly, it allows those costs to normalize just a bit, and you get a better read on how that marketing is actually working for you. So finally, plan on calculating your CAC also by channel. You'll find that there's certain channels that appear very cheap at first, but are actually very, very expensive when you calculate it, and of course, vice versa. Also, be sure to add in your own labor costs into the equation. That's a real cost, and you want to capture that as a true cost to the business. Assignment. Here is your assignment for the day. First, pick 2 channels that you've used to find students and calculate the cost of acquisition for those channels. Give yourself a quarterly view, so the past 3 months. So go back, figure out how much time and money each channel has cost you, and then how many new customers you've acquired from those channels. And to make it easier for you, I've also created a CAC cheat sheet that you can use at will. And with this sheet, you're going to be able to quickly calculate your CAC for multiple channels. You can find it here at this URL. Just go to tinyurl.com/measureyourmarketing. Well, that wraps up this video. I hope you learned a lot about customer acquisition. In the next lecture, we're going to dive deep into figuring out your LTV. That component is really, really critical for your business to understand exactly what's going on, and you'll see why when we're done. You're going to be a much better business person and studio owner once you see how it works. So until next time, I wish you health, happiness, and success, and I'll see you in the next video.